So this set says Tolsky, a Ukrainian scientist, was given the task of creating a secret weapon for the Ukrainians to counter the Russians. He set up a plant in Dansk and bought four machines ABCD. Each weapon required four parts to be equipped. In order for a part to be ready, it has to go through every machine for a fixed amount of time. All the processing of the four parts has to be done within 75 minutes of the start of the work on the first part, otherwise the weapon cannot be created. Tolsky set up a plan to best utilize the machines to create a secret weapon but was unsure whether it was the most optimal one or not. He created a bar chart looking at the total idle and working time of the machines for one cycle of the secret weapon to be created. So, till now, what have we understood from all of this? That each weapon required four parts to be equipped. We have four machines. In order for a part to be ready, it has to go through every machine for a fixed amount of time. So four parts are there. Each one of them has to go through each of the four machines for a fixed amount of time. The processing of the four parts must be done within 75 minutes of the start of the work. Otherwise, it will not be created. And then he has given us the total idle time and working time of the four machines. Let's have a look at this. The bar graph given below shows the total idle and working time of the four machines in one cycle of creation of the secret weapon according to Tolsky's plan. So here it is 20 minutes, then it is 46 minutes, 28 minutes and 38 minutes. In that ways we have the working time and idle time for all of these. What next? The bar chart given above does not consider the idle and working time after the cycle of creation. A maximum of two machines can work at a time. Machine D can only work together with machine A. Machine A cannot work together with B. Each part has to go through a machine exactly once. A part can be only in only one machine at a time. Each machine will take a constant time to process each part. There was no instance where not even one machine was working in the cycle of creation. That means every time at least a machine was working. Machine A was the first machine to start every cycle, and idle time is calculated for other machines when at least one machine is working. So he brought in a mastermind, Dvelsky, to determine if he found the optimal time. So Welsky noted down the working and idle time of the machines from the bar graph, and according to that, he made all the different possible scenarios for optimizing the time. Optimizing the time means taking the minimum possible time to do the work. So what I have done, I have written all this data on this page currently. First of all, if I talk about these four machines A, B, C and D, so what is the working time and idle time for each one of them? For machine A, the working time is 20, the idle time is 46 minutes. For machine B, the working time is 28, the idle time is 38 minutes. For machine C, the working time is 32, the idle time is 34 minutes. And for machine D, the working time is 24 and the idle time is 42 minutes. These all are there. If you just have a look at all of them, they all add up to 66. That means, according to Tolsky, one cycle is of 66 minutes. He says it should be of maximum 75 minutes, but according to Tolsky, it is of 66. Therefore, every machine has a working time plus idle time of 66 minutes. Also, A worked for 20 minutes for four parts, and each part take a constant time to process, right? That means we can say that if 20 minutes are taken for four parts, that means each part takes 5 minutes of machine A. Exactly in a similar way, each part takes 7 minutes of machine B, 8 minutes of machine C, and 6 minutes of machine D. I've just divided them by 4. If 4 parts are taking 20 minutes, that means each part is taking 5 minutes. If 4 parts are taking 28 minutes, that means each part is taking 7 minutes. So on and so forth. So the total time taken by Tolsky to complete a cycle is 66 minutes. Each part is taking 5, 7, 8 and 6 minutes on A, B, C and D machines. So this all we have sorted till now. Now we will talk about this. A maximum of 2 machines can work at a time. Which 2 machines can work at a time? Machine D can work only with A. So D can work with A. A cannot work with B. So A can work with C only. Apart from that, can I say the only possibility is that B and C? So D and A is one group of machines that will be working, or pair of machines that will be working. A and C, B and C. There is no other pair that can work. I mean, A and B cannot work together. B cannot work with D because D can only work with A. C cannot work with D because D can only work with A. So that way the other three pairs are eliminated. These are the only three pairs can work. Otherwise, you will always be working in singlets. Now, this is all that we have till now. These are the pairs that can work. This is the timings that are there. What is the time taken by each product, that also we know. Let's start doing the questions now, because otherwise if I make possibilities according to this, there would be innumerous possibilities. I will be talking about the cases now according to the questions itself. Here is the first question. By how much time was Tolsky off in his calculation of the least possible time to create a secret weapon? I want to take the least possible time to create a weapon. Of course, if you want the least possible time to create a weapon, can I straight away say least possible time will be taken if most of the time they work in pairs? That means A and D, B and C, A and C, if they all work in pairs, in that case, it will be taking the minimum possible time, right? Now, two of these pairs have C in them. C is going to work for a total of 32 minutes. So in any case, these two pairs can work for a total of 32 minutes only. I hope you are getting my point. In any case, we can say these two machines can work for a total of 32 minutes. Now, B and C can work for a maximum of 28 minutes. B and C can work for a maximum of 28 minutes. So let us say B and C work for 28 minutes. Now, C has worked for 28 minutes. C can work for 4 more minutes. So A and C, if they are working for 4 minutes, now in this scenario, you would see that B and C have worked for 28 minutes. That means the work of machine B is complete. C has worked for 28 minutes. C has worked for 4 minutes. That means the work of C is also complete. Now, A has worked for 4 minutes. A has to work for 16 more minutes. So, can A and D work for 16 minutes? Yes. Now, work of A is also complete. But D has only worked till 16 minutes now. But D has to work for 8 more minutes, for which D alone will be working. So ultimately, the total time taken by them is 16 plus 28, which is 44, plus 4, which is 48, plus 8, which is 56. So they will take a total of 56 minutes to complete the weapon, right? I hope you have got my point. Now, here you might be having this question, sir, what if we change these values? Rather than taking 28 and 4, what if we take something else? Let's try. Let us take B and C worked for 10 minutes. A and C worked for 12 minutes because C has to work for 32 minutes. So if C works for 20 minutes here, C would be working 12 minutes here. 20 plus 12. Now, because A has worked for 12 minutes, so A can work with D for 8 more minutes, because A has to work for a total of 20 minutes, right? But now I have a problem. The problem is that when I talk about B, B has just worked for 20 minutes till now. B has just worked for 20 minutes. So B has to work for 8 more minutes separately. And when I talk about D, D has worked for only 8 minutes, but he has to work for 24 minutes. So D would be working for another 16 minutes separately. That will take the total time taken to 8 plus 20, 28 plus 12, that is 40 plus 8, 48 plus 16, that is equal to 64 minutes. It is going to increase the time. You see that there is an increase of 8 minutes here. Why there is an increase of 8 minutes? Because this has been decreased by 8. What impact does it make? When this time decreases by 8, automatically this time increases by 8. When this time increases by 8, automatically this time decreases by 8. I hope you are getting my point. So because of this, one number increased by 8, other two decreased by 8, and because of that there is a negative impact here. And ultimately I see here this number, this number has increased by 8 and B has to work for an extra 8 minutes. Point is that now three of them are working for 8 minutes extra, two of them are working for 8 minutes less. So ultimately, the total time will increase in that case. So logically speaking, lesser A and C would work, more and more A and D would work. More and more AD work, less D would be working. And in such cases, the minimum possible time would be taken. So the minimum possible time is 56 minutes here. How much off was he calculation from Tolsky? Tolsky was taking 66 minutes. But now the minimum time is 56 minutes. So how much off is that? It is 10 minutes off. So my answer for the first question is 10 minutes. That is option B. Let's have a look at the second question. A and D worked together only till the time when two parts of D were created and never after that. What is the least possible time in which the machines would equip all the parts for a secret weapon? So let's start talking about it. A and D worked together only till the time when two parts of D were created. In what time two parts of D would be created? Four parts are created in 24 minutes. That means two parts will be created in 12 minutes. So if A and D work for only two parts, that means they work for only 12 minutes. They work for only 12 minutes. Now there is a pair which is named as AC. There is a pair which is named as BC. But now I can surely say that D for the remaining time will have to work alone. I hope you are getting my point. For the remaining time now, D will have to work alone. So 12 plus 12, that is equal to 24. What about the other timings now? So here I have 12, here I have 12, AC and BC. Can I say AC and BC can work for a total of 32 minutes, but keeping in mind B has to work for 28 minutes. C has to work for 32 minutes. Even that is to be done. So if B and C work for 28 minutes, A and C work for 4 minutes, so B's work is complete, C's work is complete, D's work is complete, but A has only worked for 12 plus 4, 16 minutes till now. So A has to work for 4 more minutes alone. That means the total time taken is 12 plus 4, 16. 16 plus 28, that is 44. 44 plus 12 is 56. And 56 plus 4 is 60 minutes. The time taken by them to complete the work is 60 minutes. That is option A is the answer for us. So here is the third question. Which of the following cases definitely not possible for Tolsky's plan? See, Tolsky's plan is to work for 66 minutes. So keep that in mind. So which of the cases is not possible for Tolsky's plan? That's why I have to figure out. Machines A and D did not work together for even one part. So let us say machine A and D do not work together ever. If A and D do not work ever together, that means D will be working for complete 24 minutes alone, right? D will be working for all 24 minutes alone. Now, I can work in pairs now only for AC and BC because AD pair is not allowed according to option A. If AD pair is not allowed, AC and BC can work together. AC and BC can work together for 32 minutes, right? Which can be, of course, in various ways possible. It can be 28 and 4. It can be 27 and 5. It can be 26 and 6. That way, there are various possibilities. If they work for 28 and 4, C's work is complete, even B's work is complete, but A has to work for another 16 hours. A has worked for 4, A has to work for 20, 4 more hours are left. In this scenario, C has worked for 32 hours, but B has worked for 27. That means A has to work for another 15 hours because A has worked for 5 and B has to work for another 1 hour. In the next case, B has worked for 26 hours, so B has to work for 2 more hours. A has worked for 6, so A has to work for 14 more hours. In any case, every time it is becoming 16 only. So 16 hours are any one of A or B will have to work alone. 32 hours they have to work in pair. 16 plus 32 is equal to 48. 48 plus 24 is 72. So in any case, they are going to take 72 minutes, whereas Tolsky's plan was for 66 minutes. That means straight away I can say option A is not possible if you want to work for 66 minutes. That means my answer is option A. Of course, I do not have to check for option B and C. When A is satisfying, why to check B and C? So A is the right answer. Here comes question number 4. What was the minimum time required to create a secret weapon if machines A and D did not work together at any point during the process? If A and D did not work together at any point during the process, I think we just discussed it in the previous question, that if D has to work separately and does not work with A, so whatever order you take of these two groups, right, the total time has to be minimum 72 minutes as we checked in the previous question. So my answer for this question is going to be 72 minutes. For that, you can of course refer to question number 3 solution as well. And then he says, what would be the time remaining in minutes after a secret weapon is ready in the 75-minute cycle if A and D worked together only till the time when one part of D was created and never after that. Now, one part of D would be created in 6 minutes. He says that A and D work together for only 6 minutes. If A and D work together for only 6 minutes, so now D has to work for all the remaining time alone, that is for 18 minutes, D will have to work alone. And in any case, now AC and BC, they are going to work for a total of 32 minutes. Once again, I'll take BC as 28, AC as 4. So A has worked for 6 plus 4, 10 minutes. A has to work for another 10 minutes yet, right? This should be the total time. And as I said before, if you just take this, let us say 24, take this as 8, automatically this would decrease to 6. But B will have another 4. Ultimately, it would remain the same. This total is going to be 32. This total is going to be 10. So the total time taken now is 10 plus 18, which is 28, 28 plus 32, which is 60, 60 plus 6, that is 66. So 66 minutes is the time taken in this case. So my answer for question number 5 is 66. I'm sorry, what was the question asking you? Oh, the question is saying what would be the time remaining. So from a 75-minute cycle, if you work for 66 minutes, the time remaining is 9 minutes. So yes, 9 minutes is the correct answer for question number 5.